I'm walking through the valley, I won't fear an army. I lift my eyes to heaven, I know you walk with me. I'm a walking miracle.
Hello guys, welcome back to the channel. PK Darren here, and today we're going to be going over the topic of today. The topic of the day is, can you and should you start on a 1000cc? Now, I made a video that went pretty well. It was on the GSXR 750. I was saying, like, you can start on a GSXR 750, but I wouldn't recommend it just because of all the features. And since I have a GSXR 1000, it'll probably be the same, but I'm just gonna have to go over some things about what I said in the last video if you guys haven't seen it. Anyway, let's get into it. So the main thing I'm gonna probably say is, before you try and do any motorcycling, I think the safety course is 100% a must. I always recommend the safety course, and if not the safety course, try finding someone with a bike and letting them let you ride backpack. It'll kind of give you like a gist if that's what you would want to do. Because my dad, before he had a motorcycle, I think a cruiser, and I was able to like get a ride on the cruiser, and that would kind of help me out a little bit if I wanted to ride a motorcycle. So before I get into it, let's talk about me. So I started on a 125cc dirt bike. That was my very first bike. Now, you know, some people say it's different than a sport bike or whatever, but that's the very first bike I rode on. And then my very first actual sport bike was the Ninja 300. I rode that, I think, about maybe 2 to 3 years. And I think I had that, yeah, for about 2 to 3 years before I moved up to the GSXR 750, and then now the GSXR 1000. Now, before I talk about that, I actually went to the safety course. Even though I had most riding experience, I went to the safety course. The safety course is really good. I think I went to Ride, Arizona in Casa Grande, and it was only 2 days. It's really a day, one full day, and then a half a day the next, because then you have the final exam. But I think that's the best part. I think it cost me around $320. I already had a Ninja 300. I took the Ninja 300, but you don't have to. They recommend using one of their bikes, and I kind of recommend, if you want, just use one of their bikes instead of using your own. But all you would really need is a helmet, and you can get a helmet off Amazon, like I did, for like 60 bucks at the time. And that's what they did. So the safety course, how we did it was, we went in there, and then we went into the classroom one time for like a little group session. They put you in like a team of 4, and depending on how big the class was, and I had a huge class, so they do all that, and that's what they technically did. And we did like a group session, then we went out riding, and like the very first day was like the basics, literally how you turn on your bike, how you use your turn signals, literally everything that you think of, they taught you. The only thing they didn't teach you, if you're into that more of like how to drag knee and lean, that's like a whole nother separate school you can go to. But anyway, let's get into the back of the part. So I recommend a safety course. A lot of people don't want to do it because they don't have like that kind of money to spend, but I think if you have enough money to get a new bike, you should have enough money to take the safety course. You can do a permit test, but the permit, you're like limited. I believe you can't ride after sunset, you can't leave the city that you're resigned in, and you can't ride with a passenger. But I mean, who's going to know unless you're out there doing dumb stuff? So that's what I recommend you should do first. I also recommend you should start at the bottom. Get a Ninja 400, or get a 300cc. If not, you can even start on a 500 or maybe even a 650cc. Yeah, you're not going to be as fast, and you're going to be wanting to keep up with all like the faster bikes, but you're going to still be able to hang out to an extent, and you'll still be on a beginner bike. The reason why I say a beginner bike is because that thing sounds so good. Anyway, the reason why I say starting a beginner bike is because it's more forgiving. You still don't know the weight. You may have struggling shifting gears, popping the clutch on accident. Most beginner bikes come with ABS, and so on and so on. Some 1000s doesn't have any features. Like I know the GSXR 1000, I think it's the 2011 and under, has like no safety features, so no ABS, no traction control. You don't even get a gas gauge. you don't really get any type of assistance like you do on other 1000s. Does that mean you should start on them because there's more features? No. The main reason why I say the smaller bikes, because you're gonna go down. You're not gonna be able to know how to actually like slam on brakes if you don't have ABS. You're not gonna know how to do a lot of stuff. Yes, like everyone says, some people do start on 1000, some people start on 600. You can do it, but I don't recommend you do. And then I know some people, they don't want to spend the money to buy a beginner bike for $2,000-$3,000, maybe even $4,000 or $5,000, depending on what beginner bike you get, and then they have to sell that bike and go get a bigger bike. But I honestly think you should start at the bottom. I've had bad stories of people I knew that started at the bottom of the list. Like, let's get into the first part. I was on a Ninja 300. Long story short, this guy in Maricopa, where I live at, was gonna go buy a 1000cc bike. Now, I didn't know it was a 1000cc bike. I got invited when I was at the gas station, and these guys is all like, hey, PK, we're going to right now. Everyone in there had like fast bikes, like 1000, 600, 750. I think I was the only Ninja 300. And I was all like, hey, yeah, why not? Let me just go ahead and go. So I ended up going. We get to right now. I'm thinking he's going on like a little 400cc, 500 maybe. And kind of found out he wants to get a Gixxer 1000. And not just any 1000, not the newer one with features. He gets the one that I have. Mine's a 2016, but I think his was a 2014, 15, something like that. So imagine, the Gixxer 1000 has no features, no ABS, no traction control, nothing. It has different power modes, but you don't have anything at all. So he ended up buying it. His parents doesn't know he bought it. And he was still in high school, went to Maricopa High. I think this is when I just graduated Maricopa High. No, I think maybe 4 or 5 years afterwards. I don't know. But anyway, we're about to pull off, and he didn't know how to even like use the turn signals. He didn't know anything. So as we're going from right now and Chandler, we're going back to Maricopa, and he stalls at like 5 lights. He kept stalling because he didn't know how to put it in neutral. He didn't know anything. And I remember me asking him like why he started on the 1000 was because everyone he knew and all his friends had 1000s. And I think that's the main problem. A lot of people get discriminated because they want to hang out with their friends, because most of their friends have 600s and 1000s and 750s, so they want to start on that. But I'm gonna be honest with you guys, most of the guys I ride with and ridden with, they didn't have 1000 cc's. I think I met most of the majority had 600 cc's, 400s, maybe 500, 650 cc's. None of them really had 1000 cc's. I think there's only maybe 2 or 3 guys that had 1000s. I had a 750 at the time, and I think everyone else had 600s. So I can kind of understand you want to go fast, but at the same time, if you're not willing to learn to get there, what's the point? Back to the story. I think maybe 3 months later, I'm at Dutch Bros in town, and some firefighters this one I had the 750, they was commenting on my bike, you know, giving me compliments, etc. And they're all like, I'm glad I see you protected, because we just got done, I think they said at that time, it was like they just got done scraping a kid off the pavement that was on a Gixxer 1000 a few months back. So I'm like, can you explain the kid? And they're explaining. I'm like, what's a Gixxer 1000 gray and yellow? And they was like, yeah. So it's like, yeah, it was a gray and yellow Gixxer 1000. So I'm like, oh my gosh, I know who that is. And they told me that this guy had no gear, all his clothes were shredded, he had only gloves and a helmet. That's another thing, like, you gotta wear your gear. I know some people don't, you see a lot of influencers don't, but you gotta wear your gear. So he had that, no gear, only a helmet, and they said what happened was the speed limit going up the bridge, I think it's 45. He ended up rolling on the throttle on accident, and the bike started to do a wheelie, and he got scared and didn't know what to do. And the bike ended up flipping. By that time, they said that he was doing 65 in a 45, and luckily he didn't go off the bridge, but he ended up surviving, but didn't get on a bike, and la-di-la-di-la. But that's the main thing. Like, you get on these 1000s, you're not going to know what to do. But if you started on a smaller bike, you're going to know what to do more. You're going to have more knowledge versus if you get a bigger bike. So that's like the main thing I think about on a 1000. Can you do it? Yes. Should you do it? No. But that's about it for the video. I hope you guys enjoyed it. I hope you guys had a blessed day. I would have been uploading before, but I was on vacation, and now I'm back, heading to work right now. Listen to you guys. Take care. Have a blessed day.
Walking through the valley, I won't fear an army.